welcome in week 3. Oof, was this the D5 race we got going on here?
This is the D5 race.
D5
It is
indeed.
going to be an exciting race. These guys have been pretty neck and neck, pretty clean too. Them and D6 have been pretty clean all season so far. We are at Indianapolis. I am your host, Dan. I got Josh Damiani with me and Nate Allen. Guys, how are we doing today?
I am not doing too bad. I'm excited to get back to racing after the week off, and yeah, looking forward to getting, I think this is the first quote-unquote stream we're going to do here for D5, so it's nice to get these guys some actual screen time.
It is. I am very, very, very excited for this race here today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coming off of that Thanksgiving break, you know, I felt the gears getting a little bit rusty, but it felt good to get back behind the wheel. And as always, it's always great to be back in the commentator's booth to watch some really exciting drivers at their craft.
That it is. And if you are new to SRA and you don't know how this works, we have 20-minute qualifying. The first 10 minutes goes out to the silver drivers, which will have the silver number plates in game. And the second half will go out to the gold drivers, which are represented by the white number plate. You will see on the right-hand side of all the driver names. With that said, we have everyone on their outlaps for the silver class. Just getting the tires warmed up. Still a green track, but should start seeing our first couple laps coming through here very shortly.
Are we showing the track right now?
Yeah,
You should hit drive.
I did. I need to
It's showing
fix something.
showing your end of session. If you hit the escape button, there you go.
Gotcha. There we
Bingo.
That's fine. Yep.
Technical difficulties, but that's
It
okay.
happens.
That's
It happens.
SRA.
And this D5 commentary, this is on YouTube, correct?
Yes,
That's
it
correct.
is.
We're going to be recording this and then posting it up afterwards on the YouTube.
You guys just bear with me one sec. I just gotta fix something here.
No problem. Like you said, the first few cars are coming around for their first hot laps here. Bunch of yellow flags. If we saw, there were a couple drivers that were disqualified during the qualifying session. Those guys are just serving a little bit of a dealing from our stewards, a pit lane start for their race today. Or is it just a no qualifying ban?
I'm having a friend of mine say that he can't find the D5 on YouTube, only D4.
Yes, we are not live. We are recording this, and then it's getting posted up after.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. We're working on new ways. Apparently, we can simulcast this, but down the road, maybe we'll figure something out, or I don't know. But it's what we do.
Well, I can appreciate that wholeheartedly. I understand the effort and the resources that's involved with, you know, trying to stream and broadcast all the different races and everything. So,
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely a lot of work. We thank all of our commentators, everybody else behind the scenes too, getting the servers up. I gotta say,
absolutely.
guys, just taking a look at here, Daniels, who's got P1 currently right now with a 138, almost 138 flat. What kind of times you guys expecting to see out of the D5 guys here?
I'll be honest, I got no idea.
No idea.
'Cause
I know
there's a 136.1 from Sean Williams.
Yeah, it's
yes,
an
there
interesting
is.
question. Because I saw that the splits for D6 were at about a 140. So I feel like you're always going to have a couple of guys in each division who are just going to blow that sort of split out of the water. So, you know, who knows? Maybe we see a 135, 134 here and there. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I saw the split for D1 is around a 134-ish.
Yeah, D1 is a scary territory at low 134s and consistent 134s.
It is crazy how those guys can handle a 34 around this track and maintain it the entire race. I know even Monday night in our practice race for D3, you know, I was pushing maybe a low 36. I could hit a couple 35s and some hot laps, but man, to be consistent like that, especially through an hour-long race, full tank of fuel, this track is very, very difficult. It's very slippery. It's very flat. That's one thing I've noticed all last week when I was practicing, and it is hard to be pretty consistent. You really got to be on your line the entire way through the track. One little mistake can lose you almost a full second on certain parts of the track.
Yeah, no question about it. There's no berm on any of the turns. You know, it's not like a Watkins Glen sort of thing where you have a little bit of physical aid into helping your car maintain a line. I mean, it's just flat out car setup and optimal line.
Yeah,
definitely.
It is definitely. There's a couple curbs on here too, like coming out of. If we're looking at the screen here, we got Williams here in P1. This section right here, the double apex, is just very, very difficult. You kind of swing the car out wide, which to me sometimes feel a little unnatural, but this whole first sector going into sector 2 just seems to be one of the hardest spots to really get the power down without spinning the car around. I think we're going to see everyone's going to have to definitely be a little bit of patient, especially going into turn 1. Turn 1 is lap 1 and lap 2. I think might see a little chaos coming in there.
We just might. D5 and D6 seem to be some of the cleaner divisions when it comes to turn 1, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, turn 1 here does go from, I would say, what you could fit maybe 7 or 8 cars wide. No, realistically 5, down to about 2 safely. So it's going to be about finding your space and not having your quarter panel end up in somebody's wheel well.
Yeah, I know we had a couple people go 3 wide in our practice race. Heck, I think even towards the back of the pack we had 4 wide, and it's easy to overshoot. It's easy to miss your braking point on it. It's definitely going to be an interesting turn 1. Very excited to see how these guys handle it.
No doubt about it. And I'm looking at these. We talked about what we expect qualifying time out of this division. We didn't really get too far on it because, I don't know, we didn't really have too good of an idea. But I'm seeing the 36.1 of Williams, the 36.2 of Krochik, 36.7, 37.4 for the top 4. 37.7 for the top 5.
Yeah, and
this is only the silver class.
Half a second.
What is the gold gonna do?
I tell you what, that's blowing my mind right now. That D5's hitting the 136, the low 136s here. It's amazing. Like I said, even all the divisions are relatively close within times. Like I know. Qualifying for D3 was maybe the top 15 was all within a second. It was very, very interesting to watch in that practice race on Monday, and it's definitely gonna get exciting here. So as we have the end of our silver drivers for their qualifying, we have one more person on their last lap here, I believe. Looks like Meyer possibly gonna improve.
He's currently up over 6/10 on his lap. Ooh, loses a little bit there.
Looks
like a poor exit. And that's the brutality of that section of corners right there.
It is.
Going into that last right-hander, he was only up 1/10. That little bit of bobble, slippery track, the lack of anything to help you out. It's tough.
Going a little wide there too in those last 3 corners. It's like I said, it's very, very easy to miss your breaking point. The track is pretty warm. It's around 34 degrees Celsius. Looks like he is not going to make up any time here.
Oh, but we do have Swan who's still on a lap. It looks like he crossed the line just as the 10-minute mark hit.
Yep, and he's...
So he is up on his time a lot right now. His 1:38 could do with improvement, and this lap time will put him, well, I'd say close to the top 5.
Very, very well could be. Loses a little bit of time there, but seems to be the main sector
Strong
there
exit
still.
onto the straight.
Yeah.
Oh, big acceleration.
And he crosses the line and he jumps up
P5.
to P5. Very nicely done there. Very nicely done. So as our gold drivers are rolling out onto the track here, I will pop up the track map real quick and we could just take a look at this. So sector 1, turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very, very difficult. You really want to try to brake right before, depending on what car you're in, right before the 400 meter board, maybe the 350. I know you can get away with that in like the Porsche. Very difficult track, very harsh braking points, very easy to light your tires up, wear them out super, super quick, especially with the track being around 34 degrees Celsius. That's a pretty warm track. You know, I think qualifying set for, 3 p.m. And I think the race is around 5 p.m. So it should be a little bit cooler on for the race. Maybe just a couple degrees, but turns 1 and 2 can be a little tricky, but if you get your line right, come in through turn 3, turn 4, just a little easy on the, gotta go very, very easy on the brakes there. They can definitely slide you out sideways completely. Could be a little bit of a mess. Then we got sector 2 beginning after turn 4. Another tricky corner, pretty much flat out through turn 5. And then going into turn 6, the double apex, into turn 7. Again, another spot you can spin out very easily, but also can make up a lot of time there if you get your line right. Then we have the back stretch. Turns 8, 9, and 11 will wrap up sector 2, and then make your way into sector 3. Long back straight, and what I personally think is the hardest turn on the track is turn 13 and 14. When you're coming through 12, coming up to that wall, it is very, very easy to nick the wall. I kind of had to force myself to stay about 2 feet away from it, just so I didn't hit it when I was braking. But you get all that right, come through turn 15, you'll have a nice solid lap.
Yeah, if you could somehow just sew all that together perfectly every time for every lap over the course of an hour, you might enjoy some success.
Yes, I don't want to sound too negative, but I'm telling you, I struggled on this track.
No doubt about it.
Much.
Yeah, turn 13 and 14 in particular for me, as we see Shabadoo going through right now. That turn will sneak up on you. You know, you might find yourself doing an overtake, trying to get into a clean air or a draft, and next thing you know, you got that 90-degree hairpin that just has a tendency, at least for me, and now I'm only a D6 driver, but has a tendency to sneak up on me and send me careening into the abyss if I'm not careful.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very, very tough.
The one thing I found through practicing this track is just if you lose your focus for even one moment about being gentle and smooth onto the throttle, off of the brakes, managing your tires, especially through the infield section, you will lose the car.
You're done.
There's no opportunity other than the straightaways to really and just kind of like re-zero yourself.
There
That's
isn't.
right.
But
Yeah.
Shabadoo, you were on board there. I think that's his name. Or if you were just saying a name you can't pronounce, that right-hander onto that middle straightaway there, I'd say that's probably the most critical corner on the track. May not be the hardest, but there are so many ways to take through that corner that are not fast enough, where you can lose 3 to 5 tenths going down that straightaway, which is not that long, but you can lose a lot of time.
I think it's a great point you raised about saving the tires. I feel if there's any track out there where tire management is an extremely necessary strategy, it's definitely the Indy course that we find ourselves on right now. There's no berms. There's nothing that's going to ease the wear and tear of the tires as you go around a corner on high speed. It's all flat. So that tire management, like the point you had raised, I think is extremely critical to the longevity of the performance of your craft.
It definitely is. I know even during our half-hour practice race on Monday, the last 15 minutes, I think almost everybody was struggling between tires, even the brakes. Like my brakes were overheating at one point. And you know, with the 10-minute qualifying that we switched over to this season, I mean, it really puts the pressure on. You really have your out lap to get your tires up to temperature, and then maybe 2 solid laps to really get a good time down.
Yeah.
Especially with this track. This track, the front left and the back left were just lighting up for me in the BMW. Same thing.
Same here.
It was tough going. For sure.
Yeah,
But
I noticed my front left was just overheating at an exorbitant rate as compared to my other tires. My front left was a whole degree higher, and at a certain point, probably even 1.5 pounds of psi higher than what my other tires were, which throws the whole balance of the entries and exits of the turn entirely off.
yeah. And you know what, guys? I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised here. I'm looking at our board. There's a lot of silver guys holding their positions in the top 10 here.
Yeah. There's only 1 gold driver in the top 5, 2 in the top 10. That's a big question mark for me, and I'm sure a few head scratches going on in the managerial department, considering we just had a few sortings finish. Now, we didn't redo the gold and silver sortings, but I know that they just might be taking a look at Krocek and Williams, especially considering Krocek pipped a 35 there by the end of the silver qualifying.
Yeah.
Come on, gold drivers, do something.
Poking it with the stick.
I did see a couple mistakes, a couple little spin outs. I do see Walsh was just up on his time, Rigatoni as well, but don't really seem like they're getting any better. They're kind of flatlined right here. Other than that,
yeah, this track with that whole tire management thing kind of makes it, in my opinion, a little bit F1-esque in that it's 1 push lap, maybe 2, and your tires are shot.
Yeah.
And some drivers, we can see them going out for that 3rd lap, and even though they're hitting a clean line, they're just not gaining the time.
To be fair too, we also have a lot more silver drivers than we do gold, I believe. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 gold drivers out of 34 total, and I believe 2 people have pit lane starts. I forgot if we changed the rules. Do they have to miss qualifying, or do they still get to qualify and still have to start from the pits?
No, you do not qualify if you have a pit lane start.
Do not qualify. But yeah, no. We got a couple people. Walsh is making up, probably at 2 tenths up on his time. That's really about it. Pretty quiet qualifying.
Yeah, not too much to shake a stick at, but I'm sure the race is going to be a whole lot more.
Yes. That is definitely going to be a little crazy.
Yeah, and Rigatoni just doing his best to get down a solid, stable lap here. And he's been kind of a sleeper hit. There's been several races where I've seen him just, I don't want to say outperform what his standard splits have been, but he's surprised me at a few occasions. And he's the type that he's a constant threat. If he doesn't qualify as well as he would like, I've seen him sneak back into the thick of things over the course of a 1 hour race. So he's definitely somebody that I would never consider out of the race.
Yeah, no, it is definitely, it can definitely go anyone's way. It's a long race. Anything can happen. Anything can happen during it.
No doubt about it.
But with that said, I would like to take you guys through the driver standings. I'll take you through the top 5 right now. We have Austin up in first place with 202 points. Justin McKinney, who I believe got moved up, so I don't know if these are updated driver standings. He was in second place with 192. Sorry, these are the team standings. I apologize. Where are they? There they are. Team standings. We have Fat Panda Racing with 253 points in first. Ghost Rider Racing Ohio, which is Justin McKinney and Jack Patch, 215 points. The Lightning Sharks, 213 in third. Fourth place, we have Ghost Rider Racing Lethal Dodgeballs. What a name. 206 points. And fifth, we have Grid Thieves Motorsports D5 in their Audi with 205 points. Still very early in the season, though. Everybody else is relatively close. Top 15 all are above 100 points, well over 100 points. And our driver standings, let's see, starting from fifth, we have Riggs with 136 points. Channing, 148 in fourth, and Two Dragons, Justin McKinney and Austin Whitesguard? Not 100% sure how to pronounce that. Running up the top 5, yeah. I think these are a little out of date, though. They were supposed to be updated, but possibly,
yeah, I'm not too sure. I haven't seen a full graphic of who has and hasn't been moved. The only ones I'm too familiar with are my division. But there's we did, like I said, we sorted the people who needed to be moved out of a division, up a division. Gold and silvers will get, I believe, sorted after these races, and then any necessary demotions, which I don't think there's any at the moment. I don't think anyone's fallen off the back of a pack too bad. Those will get done as necessary. But hopefully they get those standings updated, because although early, it's good to know how hard you need to push in races like Indy, where some people may not like the track and may think, I'm gonna take this as my drop race.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and here we go. Got our formation lap on its way. Guys, who's your pick? Who do you guys think is going to prevail here?
I gotta give it to one of the red placards, man. Not only do they have a consistency of winning races, and that is just generally red placard drivers. They're showing up and dominating, but I have the chance of racing with both of those guys when in my free time when I'm practicing, members of Champion Motorsports, and they are some fast fellows who have found themselves staying in D5 somehow, so one of those two is going to take it.
I tell you what time's like a 135 there, they're right up there with us in D3, because that's right. That's just a little bit behind my personal best. I think I've hit like a 135.3, and that was just yesterday. So this is definitely going to be some interesting racing. I have a feeling these two up front here are going to walk away with this if they can get a nice clean start.
It's just that, you know, I think that Sean Williams has impressed me quite a bit in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him not hold on to sort of the rank that he has right here as far as his grid position is concerned. But also if he actually ends up taking top of the podium. But at the same time, like I had mentioned earlier, I feel like there's some real sleepers in the mix that are ready to pounce on any opportunities they can for other drivers' mistakes. You know, I've seen Rigatoni doing it. I've seen Pat Cockcroft do it.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially with Rigatoni. I watched him race a little bit last season. I still new to the league here, but I think he's going to be my pick for today.
Rigatoni, I love it. I love it.
Bold prediction before the starts: the Astons at the front are going to get gapped.
Yes. Yes,
the Aston
they are.
It's my baby. I've found very hard at this track. Sucks off the start and gets shown the back of a car by the time you get to turn 1.
But let's see, I'm gonna keep my camera on Aoki right here in 4th. You guys want to try to pick a spot midfield?
Yeah,
but
I got my eyes on Stephen Brule right now and Patches O'Houlihan. Patches O'Houlihan was my teammate last season. He's gone on to do great things, and he's improved a ton.
He has improved, but I have to say, we got a green flag, 2 wide.
Here we go.
Here we go. They're really starting to get everything separated out here. See a little bobbing and weaving from Williams. Aston's definitely keeping up just a little bit there. Seems like we have a nice clean turn 1 so far.
Everybody finding a home. Wow. Hats off.
That
great turn 1.
Was a very clean turn 1.
Coming
no doubt
double
about
apex. It looks like the 2 McLarens held off well off the start.
And the picture, a little contact between Patches O'Houlihan and it looks like Stephen Brule maybe, as Patches allows him the right of way and allows him to regain his position. However, the damage is done. He's already lost. They've both lost several positions in that little contact. And Patches again losing a little bit of grip in his rear tires as he struggles to get his temperatures in line.
Just taking a little look here. It looks like they just caught the back of Menzies there and unfortunately spun him out.
You're right. That was Menzies. Yeah, which is going to put Menzies at a pretty significant disadvantage here. But hey, we're in lap 1. It's still anybody's race. It's a shame, you know. Obviously, it's going to be weighted a little bit heavier. It was an incident that occurred within lap 1, so as the rules dictate, you know, you're going to feel that pressure on you throughout the rest of the season a little bit heavier, considering it was a lap 1 incident. But at the end of the day, I think that it makes for some good incentive to try to ensure some clean racing.
Yeah, and I tell you what, these guys lined up single file pretty quickly here throughout lap 1. See the field getting spread out already just a little bit, but the guys up in front, Williams and how do you pronounce that? Crocky? Krocek. Thank you.
We've got a car turned in turn 4.
Turn 4.
Ferrari 232. That's Ren Aoki falling from the top. The lone gold driver in the top 5 has fallen.
Yeah, and Ren Aoki has been a wild card in my observance of him. Sometimes he comes out and the car doesn't slip. Other times he's a little unpredictable.
Looks like he just got a little loose there.
There you go.
Well, I gotta say, those mid-engine cars on this track, they seem to be a little bit more dominant, but definitely very hard to control. I'm more of a BMW guy, front engine. I like to be able to kind of slide the back of the car around a little bit as I'm coming through, but
same way.
I tell you what,
I'm the same here too.
First and second here got a nice almost 2.5 second gap already. Just just pulling away from the pack here. Those red number plates.
Oh, and a little contact here on turn 4, it looks like. Where was that at?
Nobody's at turn 4.
I need to get my map updated.
We'll take a look back at this real quick too, see what happened.
Yeah, a little bit of a pile up there. Let's see, actually, I am going to change that map just for my sake.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yep, that's the one right there.
I tell you what, these two McLarens, like I said, now coming back to them at almost a 3-second gap, really pulling ahead. That Aston, though, sticking in there of Bryant, right, not too far behind, you know, still 3 seconds back, but
oh, Ferrari stopped in sector 2.
I believe with that chunk?
Looks like it might be chunk.
Yeah,
But
I think that was
quick exits. Some people had to get it out of the way pretty fast.
Oh, 838. So a chunk is 848.
oh, who was that?
Ooh.
Somebody's
Nobody's watching the
Fong.
might have a seizure.
It was Fong in the McLaren.
I'll tell you what, we got Williams and P2 just put down the fastest lap. Only a couple thousandths behind, or ahead of Rocheck right there.
Yep, and I wonder how long they're gonna go. I think they're talking to each other. They're definitely in some form of voice chat together. Just saying, hey, let's. Oh, big contact in turn 2. 2 cars spun, 3 cars involved. But I think stay with the battles.
Yeah.
Stay with the battles.
Having a little bit of struggles here tonight as he tries to make a clean entry back onto the track and does so successfully.
Oh yeah, taking out his teammate too. Definitely creating a little bit of a pile up there.
Yeah, now we got a little congestion around that hairpin there.
Yeah, it looks like top 9 is top 10's pretty spread out here. Do have a nice little pack forming with Harris. Breakdown from P11 to about P14. Nice little group here. See if Harris can make the pass.
Oh, well.
People start to file in thinking ahead to the pit window. Do you guys have any plans for your race? Like, do you think early? Do you think late?
Well, I tell you, if I'm up front and I got nice clean air in front of me, I'm going to try to pit as late as possible. Now, this is the pit straight is very, very long on this track.
Yeah,
it is absurd how long it is. The pit entry is not too bad. The pit exit, also a little strange. But
yeah. Your tire PSI might drop considerably.
I tend to pit towards the end of the pit window. I did yesterday in my practice race, and it seemed to work out pretty good. But you know, if you got maybe a big group in front of you that you've been trying to get around here, you know, that's usually tend to pit earlier. Just take that 1 liter of fuel and try to get out as quick as possible, come out in some nice clean air. What about you guys?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Fighting for that clean air is going to be critical here, because I'm sure we can see it up and down the board here. Those guys up front are doing 36, 37s. Meanwhile, everyone who's stuck in a train is doing 38s, 39s.
Yeah.
So the power of clean air. I mean, you can push harder, but and go a little faster. But at the same time, like going faster, you can take smoother lines through corners. You can manage your tires a little bit better. You're not worried about someone right behind you trying to go for an overtake. So I think late if, well, essentially what you said, late if I'm out in clean air, or early if I'm in somebody's trunk.
Tell you what, we definitely got an interesting battle here for P13 as we got Harris diving through the inside there. Ooh, a little bit of contact.
Oh
Earl
yeah.
seems to be holding on though. Harris
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
his
Seem
way
to
on
keep
through.
it grip.
See if Kimball can follow him through. Ooh, but Harris going
Oh,
off,
and Harris
going out
kind
wide.
of loses it. Yeah.
Kimball's going to take that position. See if he can put the pressure on Farrell now and get by him. Ooh, Farrell's going a little wide too. Let's see how they make out here. Can that McLaren put down just a little bit more power? Maybe they can help
Depending on
each
how
other.
long those two fight, your pick right behind them, Rigatoni,
There he is.
making his way up the field.
He is. He's having a very decent race here. Looks like they're going to be spreading out a little bit. Rigatoni now all over the back of Kimball. As they're coming in, down towards the last sector. Looks like somebody had got a little wide there, hit the barriers earlier on in the race. I tell
Just
you
a
what,
little love tap.
the McLaren and the Ferraris, how are their straight line speed? I don't think I've driven either one of those cars yet.
The McLaren is slow.
Is it?
Yeah. It's more of a the McLaren's more of a corner car, as my limited racing experience would describe it. But Ferrari I've not driven in, so I can't commentate on. But yeah, knowing firsthand from the McLaren, you make up time in the corners. At least that was my experience with it.
I tell you what, I'm gonna jump up here to P6 here. Looks like Daniel's getting a little close to Swan here. See if he can make the move on him, as our leaders are definitely gaining quite the gap here, about 16, 17 seconds up on P3 right now.
As Byron throws a yellow flag, spins out
Yeah.
in sector 3. That's critical right there.
That is.
The closest car to the leaders is now in P7.
Now he's gonna have to try to fight his way back up, try to gain some time back. Hopefully he can make it up in the pits. Looks like Welsh trying to really get that nose in there in that last turn, but slowing him down just a little bit. Liquid, ooh, giving a little bump to Swan there. This is
I'm gonna keep my eyes on Fisher as he tries to make a safe pit exit prior to the pit window even being open. It must have been an emergency.
Yeah, probably had to come in and fix some damage there.
That's right. He's got a whole heck of a lot of traffic coming in behind him. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this and see how this unfolds.
This will also give us our first opportunity to see people attempting to handle blue flags on this track, which I think is going to be very tough. Most people say that like Brands Hatch, Mount Panorama, narrow tracks are hard. I think stuff like this where there's repetitive corners is way harder. Where do you judge getting off the racing line or hanging in the back of a corner and like obscuring somebody's view?
Yeah,
or blocking the next apex.
This is definitely going to be a tough track to pass on. Me personally, like I said, if I'm not stuck on that racing line, it is it's very hard. It's a very flat track. It's very slippery, especially later on in the race. Got a car full of fuel right now, this early on in the race. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough. You really need to hit every apex just to carry your momentum and your speed through each corner, and just divvying off that just the slightest little bit loses you so much time. So it's trying to decide maybe down the front stretch or the back stretch, trying to get a little draft off the car in front of you and pass them. But it is definitely going to be a hard one. I think a lot of people are just going to have to be patient, try to let other drivers make some mistakes. Looks like Daniel's going to get the pass on Swan here.
We'll see if they can keep
Just
the clean
like
braking into turn one. They got that squabbling Audi just behind them.
Yeah,
Look for the dive to the inside. Oh,
definitely getting the dive in on with the Aston coming in.
Yeah, Byron won some positions back there.
Yeah, I think he's going to do everything he can to get around these boys here and get himself some clean air and try to chase down the leaders. But they are out. They're on cruise control. Got a nice 26-second lead on third place right now.
I don't know about cruise control.
Wow. Yeah.
But
that's true. That is very true.
looking, just as you're saying that, I peeked up at the top of the board, and there's a almost 3-second gap now between Alex and Sean, and the last lap from your leader was a 36.4. The new fastest lap of the race by half a second. That's fast for a race pace lap,
especially for D5. That is very, very quick.
That's a little bit of get off my back end. I want some space.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna go 1-2 like this, okay? But definitely gonna be a race of mistakes to happen from those two. Like I think it's gonna be hard for either of them to not get those positions.
Well, I tell you what, this Aston is all over the back of Welsh. I think it's slowing them down. You can see some of the guys up in the back now are even catching up.
This is gonna be
a nice little pack right here.
I mean, just look at the gap between Sean Williams in the number 2 position and the number 3 position, Rufus. 24 seconds behind.
Welsh going a little wide.
Switchback space, and the Porsche says, "Let me into the party."
Byron is just trying to. He finally gets around Welsh here.
Oh, and Welsh gets spun around.
A little bit of a spin. But he was just all over the back bumper of Welsh trying to get through. Finally was able to make the pass, work his way up to P6.
And now he's looking at the next McLaren. These are already right on the back of him. Could it be this corner?
I think this might be it right here. Is he going to stick a nose in? Yes, he is.
The tires. Oh.
Nice late break there, but can he hold it? Because this is a little bit of a tricky going too wide.
Ooh, very brave drivers right there. Does he go for the switch? No.
Oh, not yet, but here comes the Porsche. Gultry coming in. Is he going to make the pass? Oh, he might be able to. He sticks his nose in, a little bit of contact.
Oh, little touch.
A little bit of fair rubbing, fair racing.
Oh, he's not letting him have it though. He's gonna hold it off as best as he can.
Oh wow, what a show from those two drivers right there.
What a little battle right there. But I don't think it's gonna be over. I think Byron's gonna come right back in here. That Porsche, from experience, I can speak, does not have a nice top speed at all.
No. But as we're seeing the other Porsche
back, stick his nose right back in. He is not. He's going to back out of it there. Probably a smart move coming into turn 1. But man, what a nice little battle we got going on here.
It's getting me almost excited to race tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a nice tight battle. The D3 races for me have been very nice. Everyone's been very, very close in pace.
Oh, as he looks for the switchback, this apex is going to be tough.
Can he get it?
Oh, he's going to give the Porsche a really good run, opening out that exit there. Sitting in the slipstream, he might be competitive for the corner.
Yep.
Harris losing control a little bit and falls himself back to the pack.
There he is. Makes another move. In the course of 2 laps, going from P8 all the way up to P5. He's got to be happy about that. Now he's just got to catch back up to Daniels. for Liquid. Let's see if he's got about a 10-second gap on him, but I think he could. I think he could catch up to him.
So at
He's
what
looking
point
very
do you
well.
gentlemen feel comfortable with your gap between the car behind you? Is it a second? Is it 5? Is it 10?
Never.
Never. Yeah,
You cannot start to become complacent. That's when the person behind you starts to plan moves.
Yep.
As soon as you settle on a line, they will look for a way to switch back on you. So 5 to 10 seconds.
my
Enough for me to get back on track.
My goal is get out in clean air, keep the gap behind me as big as possible continuously, and never stop pushing. I know a lot of people like to go, maybe 90%, and then the last 15% of the race they're going, 100% all the time. But I'm kind of a all gas, no brakes, just going for it every single lap, almost as if I'm hot lapping.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, it's racing, I gotta say, Welsh dropped back quite a bit from there. I wonder if his tires were getting a little bit of warm. I know that Audi can definitely outbrake a lot of these cars here. Very curious to see if he can work his way back up through this pack. Now, if I were Welsh, once this pit window opens up in a little bit, I would be going right in, trying to get these guys out of my way and kind of catch back up, see if he can pull out the undercut here. But I mean, right now, Welsh is your top spot for your gold drivers.
Yeah, Rigatoni, whom I was putting some money on earlier, just kind of struggling to find his pace right now. 27th, right in front of Patches O'Houlihan. Just seems to be losing grip around corners, and I find him in the grass, and I know that feeling all too well. I know that feeling very comfortably.
I tell you what, I definitely spent some time in the grass last week practicing here. I gotta say,
no question about it.
The Astons are looking pretty good on this track, though. They're seem to be very smooth. We know they like to eat the curbs pretty well. The track to me felt very bouncy while I was practicing it, especially coming out of turn 3 into turn 4 and hitting that double apex. Car was very, very bouncy, and the same thing with the last 3 corners. That small straight leading up to it, switching onto the banked part of the racetrack, just
thunk.
Yeah, it's not terrible in the BMW, but when I dropped into the Porsche, ooh, man, my head was shaking afterward.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where if you're not careful with some of your lines, like for example, that last corner, the right-hander, if you go too wide if you go too wide where that timing mark is, I think it's just after that, but there's a massive bump in the track that goes all the way across, but it's significantly worse over there. And I had a bad habit when I started here of swinging left to try and cut in for that last corner, and it was just ruining my lap every time. Ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk. There's a few of those around here, and if you're not careful, they will catch you out.
I think I managed to probably hit every single one of them last week. If I had to take a guess, if you told me there was 6 of them, I probably found 7. I definitely have hit them a handful of times there. As the front of the pack's kind of spreading out a little bit here.
I have a betting proposition, considering Mr. Rigatoni has not had the race we have hoped for.
All right.
Mr. Krochik is 5 seconds ahead of Williams, who is 32 seconds ahead of Rufus. At this pace, how many cars do those two lap?
11.
I'm saying they will both be ahead of P5.
P5, you think?
Well, they've gained 30 seconds on the field in under half the race.
Okay.
So at that rate, they would gain another 30. That's a minute. At a minute and a half lap.
I'm not the best at math, but I'm going to say with the pit window because of how long of a pitch stretch it is, maybe top 10. I'll say P10. They make it up to. We'll see though. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
put a hot
just shy of
cross
that.
bun on it.
My guess is 11.
But I'm definitely not putting money on it. Like I said, I'm not good at math, so it's
$1.
$1. All right, $1.
The old Wheel of Fortune $1,
Yes.
Yeah.
or whatever the heck that show is. Price is Rice.
Oh, looks like Khan coming in on Aoki right here, getting them, pushing them out a little wide.
Here's your drag race to figure out what the top speeds are like.
Well, we got Ferrari versus McLaren right now.
Ferrari a little bit of an edge, but McLaren showcasing its brakes there. I was actually expecting it to miss the corner. It looked like it was
did look
miss.
like he was gonna overshoot it there just a little bit. I gotta say, I'm gonna swap back up to Welsh here. Welsh seems like he's closing the gap up to P7, kind of finding his footing again here. See if he can get in get the front end in there. Is he gonna sneak it in? Ooh, he's coming close. He is all over that back bumper of the Porsche.
Yeah,
he's
trying. He's pushing. But
Yeah.
you know, like I said, this track, I think it takes a lot of patience. You know, you got to find that right spot. I think his best bet would try to take him on the front straight here. Pit window is open.
We see Shabadoo trying to make a move on Rene Aoki here, and he does on the inside, no less.
No.
No. He actually got pushed back. He got pushed back. He came up even with him, and then Aoki just took the inside line on turn 14 there and held it off. So it looks like maybe a late pit strat for two of them.
And I tell you what, we got our first couple rolling into the pit here, basically from P13. It looks like a lot of the gold drivers are coming pretty early here. Maybe try to get that.
I think there's going to be a bunch of people just trying to get a little bit of a break into their tires. Give them a rest.
Yeah, maybe let them cool down a bit.
Very curious to see our front two here. Well, looks like Korchak's coming in. He's coming in the pits already.
Yeah, that's bold.
That is very bold. I mean, with almost 9 minutes to go, what do we got? 8 minutes and 40 seconds left. I figured he would have been waiting right towards the end.
Oh, and it's a long pit.
It
8
is.
seconds. So maybe a little bit of damage, maybe a little bit of extra fuel.
Very curious to see where he's going to be coming out of the pits here.
It looks like we've got a few people taking tires. We have H. McDonald 657 with a 1 minute 22 second stop, and Jerry Finkel with the same.
And I tell you what,
I think those two are going to be ones to keep an eye on here.
taking fresh tires.
Taking fresh tires. That whole tire management conversation here, like maybe not catching up to the leaders, but making up big gains in the back half of this race.
Yeah.
Well,
Possibly, man.
Korchak coming out of the pits. Looks like he's got relatively clean air in front of him. Able to hold off Walsh coming out of that.
Gualtieri going into the pits in the 12th position, opts for only a liter of fuel, doesn't do any repair or tire swapping on his own behalf. But hey, maybe Gualtieri is the guy that finds himself from the middle of the pack to the front of the pack with some good, consistent racing. And I think that's the theme of the night.
I would like to correct the statement that I have made. Both of those drivers have not pitted yet. It appears that they pitted for damage earlier on in the race.
Ah.
Thank you. I will be here all season.
Hey, it happens. Happens to the best of us. I gotta say though, I'm very curious to see Williams, if he's gonna wait till the very end, his teammate comes in early, almost immediately. Is he gonna wait right to the end and try to gain some time here on him?
Right.
Can the overcut work on this track? That's gonna be the real question.
I don't think Sean calculated it right if he's gonna shoot for that, because Krochik is in free air right now, probably putting in some much needed hot laps. When it looks like Khan and Shabadoo came together. Sector 3. Caught up to them too, just going slowly.
Shabadoo looks like just coming out of the pits here. Nope, just coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, he's giving his engine a bit of a breather, letting the hood lift there.
Yeah.
But sometimes they get a little overheat.
You just need that cool air, that's all.
Exactly. You hear the kids talking about those cold air intakes. He just did a live in action for you folks.
I tell you what, we are almost about halfway through our pit window here. Halfway through the race.
Yeah, Sean Williams just looking strong as ever.
He really is. I mean, he's still got to come in for his pit, I believe.
Yeah, it seems like he's going for the late pit strategy, which is an interesting juxtaposition, as you guys had mentioned earlier about his teammate strategy too. So,
Tell you what, I might have to take some advice from the E5 boys here if this works out well. Pitting early.
no kidding. I got my notepad out. I'm scribbling.
I have to say though, I'm still very impressed. Top 13, besides Rigatoni and Shabadoo, all Division 5 silver. They are really
Yeah,
putting
represent,
on a
boys.
good show here. Yeah.
Represent. And if I may, it reminds me, give a shout out to my fellow D6 drivers. If I'm not mistaken, not a single race incident and 2 races prior to tonight's race. Not a single race incident, which is impressive to say the least.
There were definitely some racing incidents and, you know, little contacts and stuff, but
You're right. You know what?
no filed penalties, no penalties assessed, no penalty points.
That's a great clarification. I feel like I missed.
Unfortunately, nobody around here is perfect. If you're curious, have a look at last week's D1 race. It was a show.
Yeah, and from what I recollect, the turn 1, race 1, and D1 was quite the show as well.
Oh, you bet.
But you're right. I feel like that's a good delineating line in the sand. There was no race penalties divvied out to D6. Perhaps not race incidents, but race penalties.
Well, I tell you what, we got 3 minutes and 15 seconds for the pit window before it closes. I think
Sean Williams and Byron still need to pit here.
You know what though? It could be a little close. I mean, they got about a 52-second gap.
I don't think so. The average pit stop time is looking over a minute.
Is it over a minute?
Yeah, it is over a minute.
What is it? I think it's about like a minute and 8 seconds. If I had to take a guess, with just a splash and go, no damage.
No damage, 59 to 103. What I'm looking at across the statistics right now, but
the pit lane is just so long.
Yeah,
it's
tough. Oh, Krochik spins into the wall.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And that right there is the storyline.
Is disappointing.
Yeah, you're talking about he was coming up on, he was going to surpass Williams and Byron, whom are going into their pits right now. He had the opportunity to put that gap in front of them.
I tell you what,
and it just disappeared.
I'd like to see this battle right here. Oh, you know what? Byron didn't come into the pit yet.
No, he is not. No.
Let's see if he pits right here.
I was literally just about to make a point about Krochek and his gap back to the next car that has pitted, because it was 1 minute and 2 seconds and climbing.
Holy cow.
That leaves Sean in quite the position now.
And he's going to be coming out of the pits here.
Sean, he got an absolute pot of gold right there.
He did. Let's see as he comes out. Is he gonna? Looks like he's gonna have plenty of clean air.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a perfect position to pit in. Very unfortunate for his teammate, but
he's got 251 coming up on his rear end. But you know, I'd be remiss to say that he's not going to create a substantial gap between him and 251.
I think might be a back marker.
That is correct.
Because they are pushing their way through the field here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now you got Krochek and Byron. Now they're in the pits.
Well, Byron just almost about to get out of the pits. He's probably got another minute and a half driving down the pit lane, but there he is as he's coming out. But,
and Williams is going aggressive.
Yeah, Williams still has a
he's just going ham around the corners. I mean, just going balls to the wall here. Trying to create as much of a gap as he can.
Unfortunately, falling down the ladder, must have had a ton of damage from that. There's no way you walk away from that without some serious suspension and aero damage.
There's no question. And think about the psychological effects that it would have on you too. Now you're feeling the pressure. Now you're feeling like you have to mentally make up that time. Does it tend to make you a more aggressive driver?
I think it's the polar opposite. Every time he comes into that corner, he's going to be extra cautious about going into the grass at the exit. And it's going to really hurt his lap time because of that straightaway. If he can find it back, like he's a strong driver, he'll be okay. But I think it'd make you more passive.
And you definitely want to still keep a good, decent pace, which he clearly has. Clearly has great pace coming around this track. But try to maybe gain as many positions as possible, as safely as possible, and get those points. Rack up as much as you can for the overall standings here. But I gotta say, we got a nice little group forming up here between Farrell, Steedman. I think Brochok's in the mix too.
At the end of the day, are we not going for the Constructors' Cup here?
It is the team championship for a reason.
Yes, it is.
Now, talk about a pushback drive, though. Byron, after that really late pit stop, now sits P3, just over a second back from Zitko. And he was right on the back of him. That's clap, 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 man. Very well done.
That was very well done.
Both of these drivers have been pushing real hard all race. But that whole... we're currently up to P14 of lapped cars, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Well, anything can happen in 23 minutes, all right?
Yeah, we could see another McLaren face first in the wall. That is true.
There's still quite a little bit of ways to go in this race. As Steedman trying to get over the back of Rigatoni here. Was getting a little close to him earlier, but seemed to back off just a little bit. About 5/10 down.
In the middle of the pack, we got Shabadoo trying to make a move on Chunk, and he might actually get it this time, and he does. Swings around him just in the straightaway.
Oh yeah. He's coming in for it right here. Taking a little bit
he's trying
on
to
the
battle
inside.
off two guys.
See, I think that inside line is very nice. Very nice clean pass right there. And he gets priority taking that racing line. Sets him up nice for this double apex coming up. Nice little battle right there. Gotta say, after the pit window, everyone is fairly spread out. Looks like we might have a battle popping up for P5.
That seems to be the case. A little bit of Porsche on Porsche action as Cockcroft catches up to Galtieri here. They've both been lapping it. Well, actually, the last lap they both did was the exact same time at a 1:39.542.
Just saw
You
that.
gotta be kidding me.
Dead on. But even their overall bests are only split by half a second, so this is going to be an interesting battle. You kind of need a decent pace advantage to make a true overtake here.
That's nice to see two Porsches going at it right here. Very nice. Very nice. Cap's opening up just a little bit, but ooh, looks like Croft going a little wide on that. Maybe breaking a little too late. Falling back just a little bit. Looks like Aoki trying to get another move on Daniels here. Nice little pack of three, but I gotta say, everyone is definitely starting to spread out here a decent amount. Still have a nice little battle in the back. From
Yeah, and we got Harris making a safe entry back onto the road after spinning out towards the back of the pack there in position 30.
Battle for the back. I like it.
Yeah, and there's a little one brewing. You know, at some point Williams is going to catch up to him again. And so it's always interesting, if you're the man in charge, how do you handle lapping people? You know, assuming obviously they're going to give you the right of way with the blue flag, but at the end of the day, they're going to slow you down somewhat. And if you're trying to just keep people at bay behind you, well, it's an inherent battle that you're going to have to face.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the cars can't, unfortunately, just get out of your way, nor are they supposed to, so to speak. Or I guess you could say nor do they have to.
Right.
You kind of just got to be patient with it and, fight a little bit. But it's nerve-wracking. I know that. I've been in that situation. League in a Week, which we had during the week off, saw that a lot, unfortunately, where blue flags were stuck in a battle and couldn't get out of it. Like they were stuck in the middle of cars on the lead lap that were fighting around them. And yeah, that creates a hairy situation.
Yeah, no question about it. It's just, it's a tough situation to be in. For all folks, even if you're the guy who's being shown the blue flag, that's a stressful scenario. You don't want to impede on anyone's progress, but at the same time, you do have a right to your position.
You do, and it looks like we got Menzies up here making a pass, coming in on the inside on Chunk, trying to catch up to Farrell.
Oh, going a little wide there. Gives up a lane.
Gives it right back to him. Right back. I gotta say that Merc's got to be a little tough on this track. I know the Merc's definitely very oversteery at times. It'd be very gentle on her. It looks like he's gonna try to dive down the middle again. Not really going too wide there. Steedman now trying to get into the mix. McDonald as well, going side by side.
Holy smokes.
Not the turn you want to be going side by side through too.
Yeah.
There's not really room for the cars.
Not especially after that. It's such a heavy braking zone. Let's see how they managed turn one. Almost thought they were going three wide there for a minute.
Yeah, it almost appeared as much.
Menzies still going out wide again. Ooh, coming in. McDonald just holding on to it on the outside. What a nice pass. Nice pass.
Unreal.
Can Menzies get him back here? Might be struggling on tires. I mean, I've even contemplated myself on taking tires this race. But I think it's just too much time in the pits. The pits are already very long as it is. Ooh, Steedman It looks like he got a little bump there. McDonald just working his way up. Menzies going off track. Oh no, not Menzies.
Exit stage right.
Yeah.
This is a nice little battle right here. I'm liking this.
That is a good battle. The midfield always produces some good heartfelt battles. I'm just looking around on the statistics board here, and the whole tires conversation, where like pace has dropped off significantly.
Yeah.
The leaders are only doing 38s. Oh, and Cockcroft and Galtieri come together. Sorry, I'm watching that on the side here. Turn 4, the two Porsches collect each other, and they're back on the track before they lose a position. But it's let Master and Walsh a lot closer.
It looks like
and
just getting around Swan here too.
Things are spicing up with 16 minutes left to go here in the D5 race.
There's no doubt about it.
This is when we're going to start seeing some people push, but yeah, you're right. The times are definitely dropping off pretty hard here.
She had mentioned it at the very beginning of the night, you know, talking about managing the tires, and I mean, that's really coming to fruition here. I think that's been the theme of the evening as far as how drivers are separating themselves. It's really coming down, from what I can see, who's doing a better job of managing that friction, that friction coefficient. If you ever tuned into to the SRA Science of Racing clinics that were put on, I think it was Dan, oh shoot, well now I'm kicking myself for not remembering, but a great Science of Racing clinic was put on, and he goes into the details of the friction coefficient. But from Jump Street, I think it was all about tire management in this race.
It definitely, tire management is going to make or break your race.
Yeah.
It's a tough track. It's still pretty warm, 27 degrees. I mean, flat track, not a lot of camber to really help guide the car through the turns.
Right. That's right.
It's going to be a tough one. Like I said, I've considered myself even pitting for tires.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that I shouldn't at this point. Let's put it that way.
It's funny because I got a lot of my teammates telling me, well, tires should last about 2 hours, but I don't think they have as heavy as a foot as I do.
Yeah, it's the brutality of this track, and again, like reiterating the same points, but the flatness, the lack of anything here. It's all self-inflicted tire wear.
Right.
Through, like, if you're not perfectly gentle, it's immediate scrub of the tire, immediate spinning the tires up. You're chewing into them, and then plus these hot temperatures that we have for the race day here, they are not cooling down anytime soon.
Well, I gotta say, Williams got a minute gap now. Just made it into, just passing P10 here not too long ago. On the back
and coming back up on Renaoki there, it looks like. What a dominant race with 13 minutes left to go still.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Yeah, these times are really starting to drop off now. About 2 laps ago, we were doing 137s, mid 137s. They're down to 138s right now. The whole top 4 are running 138.5s. Considering our best lap was a 136.4 earlier in this race.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No question.
Yeah, the thing I'm watching right now is Byron and Rufus, P3 and P4. Byron was on the back of Zitko out of the pits, but he has fallen back a little bit, and he hasn't really found the pace. Rufus is slowly closing up. The gap was like 1.4 not that long ago. It's up to 1.7 now. I wonder if we're going to have a change of the last podium spot here at the end of the race.
Let's take a peek. I'll throw it up here on the big screen. See how these boys are managing. Gotta say that the McLarens and the McLarens seem to be doing fairly well on this track. But majority of the McLarens are at least within the top 10. Maybe
Yeah,
top 11.
I feel this track is an interesting dissection for a McLaren in that you do have the elongated straightaways, which may be the McLaren's kryptonite, but you also have a lot of very sharp and sudden turns, which can be high speed, or maybe they're not. I suppose it just depends on what car you're driving and what your race style is. So can you make up for the fact that there's a lot of straightaways or long stretches of straightaway in a McLaren? Yeah, perhaps. Can you overcome that with, you know, poignant braking and excellent acceleration out of turns and setting yourself up for the braking point of the next turn if you're the McLaren? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's definitely a good McLaren track. I want to say the Ferrari's probably one of the better cars for Indianapolis. Could be wrong on that, but I was reading around the Discord, which
a great source of useful information.
Yes, yeah, it's always nice to peek in a team series chat, see what everyone's talking about.
Exactly.
And for anybody watching the stream or the race, the link will be down in the description if anybody wants to join. We also have simracingalliance.com, and big shout out to our sponsor, Armentario.
No doubt about it.
Very happy to have them with us this season. And it looks like that gap is dropping just a little bit here. He definitely had some pace. He's about a tenth behind Byron now. But who knows? Still got 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, and that's a long time, you know. That's a lot of laps. It's a lot of laps where anything can happen, you know.
Yeah, might have a nice little battle coming in here. Back to the Porsches again. The gap keeps closing, dropping,
yeah, it's
closing,
shrinking.
dropping.
It's shrinking, isn't it?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Every time I come over to them, they're just starting to back away from each other here. But I gotta say, Orchix, after his incident and probably close to at least a 30-second pit stop, maybe a little bit longer with the damage that he had, made his way back up to P13. Unfortunately, only running about 138. Our leader's got a 137 currently, but he is making some ground up. Definitely trying to at least maybe work his way up. If he can get another 2 seconds up, maybe at least get himself a P12, possibly a P11. But Brule and Roberts look like they're about to start battling here. Could slow them down and give Korchak a nice opportunity to pass both of them and just be one step closer getting to at least a top 10 finish.
Yeah, and I think at this point that's all anyone's really striving for. It's been a pretty, I don't want to say hectic or chaotic race, but there's been some action.
That indeed there has been. And it looks like we're getting here. It's got a nice little battle. See how these McLaren versus Ferrari again coming down the front stretch. Is he gonna make the pass? And he does.
And he does.
Nice and clean. Very nice. You gotta say that, man. The McLarens are moving up the leaderboard here.
Moving up in the world. Yeah, as an ex-McLaren driver myself, I'm not disappointed to see that.
No, they've been putting on a solid performance tonight.
We got Brule and Roberts still kind of going at it here.
Aoki just fishtailing it around the corners, around turn 11 there. Just still managing to maintain control, but making it look stylish.
A little bit of drifting action in here at
That's right.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, if you're an ex fan or maybe even a current fan, if you're a retro gamer of Project Gotham Racing, he would have gotten some kudos points for that.
That he would have. And here comes. Here he comes. Is he gonna make the pass? Trying to gain as many positions as he can with 6 minutes left in this race. Ooh, 3 of them are tight. Oh, coming in with a block.
Oh, baby.
Pushing him out
3 wide?
very wide. He's going to get right by both of them.
Oh, man.
What a move, though. What a move.
Yeah, you got to appreciate seeing
Here goes
moves
Bull
like that.
Roberts
And then
now,
he's
too.
still kind of going around the outside and perhaps thinking about sticking in the inside.
Oh, and
he
Roberts
does!
takes a
Oh, a little
spin.
bit of contact. No kidding.
Oh,
No
and
kidding. Almost loses it there. That was an impressive show.
things are going to start getting spicy here on these last couple laps that we're going to have.
That's right.
I'm seeing a lot of gaps across the board starting to tighten up here.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to start putting the tires to their limits at this point. You got 6 minutes left at maybe what, 3 laps, maybe 4 depending on your pace.
Swan going for a move on Aoki here. Can he get him? Yep, easily. Takes the nice inside line there. Just got to hold him off. Meyer making his way in there as well. Nice clean pass.
Yeah, you can't be upset about that.
And it looks like, if I'm looking at this correctly, Daniels has split the 2 Porsches that have been going at it non-stop for the last 10 laps. 10 laps, these guys have been about half a second apart, probably slowing them down a little bit, maybe eating up their tires, giving Daniels some room to move his way up.
That's correct, and Daniels has been on the charge, almost made the move into turn 1. I was watching it, but just in the background of the shot there, you'll see a silver McLaren. That's the leader.
That
We talked about leaders
the
and back markers and blue cars, blue flags showing up in the middle of battles. We're going to see just how he handles exactly what we were wondering.
Well, I would have to say, I know we just made some movements of drivers throughout the divisions, but he might be moving up. Him and Williams.
Yeah, I'd hope so. They hope so for the sake of them being able to still rack up some good points, because unfortunately your points don't transfer when you move divisions.
Yep.
But also for the sake of Division 5, like they're just a little bit outmatched.
Just a wee bit. But yeah, he is on the charge. Looks like we got somebody off in the back there too. Ooh. Crawford going a little wide, a little deep out of turn 1. Can Daniels capitalize on it?
Yeah, at this point he's still holding the optimal line though, so he might be able to keep him at bay.
Do we know who's gained the most position so far this race?
I can definitely tell you that. Today's big winner so far, is Mr. Khan in P14, who has gained 18 positions since the start of the race.
18 positions.
Wow.
Wild.
Runner-up, the car 2 positions in front of him, Mr. Brule at 15.
I told you, Stephen Brule.
Oh, Krochik and Aoki come together.
Yep, they sure do. And they kind of recover at a pretty decent pace. Get back on track without sacrificing too much of their position.
Thankfully, that was a slow place on the track, so they didn't lose too much time.
Tell you what, Daniels is pushing. I think he really wants to get around him here. He's got probably one more lap, if I had to take a guess.
Where's the leader? Two more.
2 more laps. Oh, and here they go, side by side down the front stretch. Who's it gonna be? I think that McLaren is gonna get the best of them right there, and Daniel's finally able to make the pass on the Porsche.
Yeah, and Meyer
Very
being
nice
shown a
move.
blue flag for Harris coming up behind him, and he lets him pass safely.
And I tell you what, someone has made it their way up to the top 10 here.
Actually, he has not let him
Yeah.
pass his own teammate, and I assumed he was going to let him pass safely, but he hasn't.
Yeah, you're looking at the overall there. Harris is now the car behind. Or Harris is the Ferrari 2 cars behind.
Perhaps that's the one I need to be looking at.
And the Porsches are back at it. Looks like tires.
Those magnets
tires
between
might be
those
giving
two.
them out. They really are. Been great racing between both of them the entire race.
No doubt.
Everybody else here is getting very, very, very spread out. We got possibly a little battle in the back between Kimball and Chunk.
The one thing that's for sure is we're seeing a lot of cars going deep.
Yes.
Signs of tires.
Yes, they are. It looks like everyone's going to be putting in their final laps here.
So, as a takeaway from this race heading into tomorrow, is there anything that you fellas have pulled from witnessing that you're going to say, okay, I'm going to apply this wisdom, this knowledge into my own practicality?
Do not make a single mistake or your tires are shot.
Yeah, that's all it takes. I spun out in the practice lap, or practice race on Monday, and that was it. Couldn't get the tires to cool down. Even driving through the marbles, couldn't get them drop at all.
Yeah, and that was kind of my concern going into tomorrow night's race, is that, like I had mentioned, my front left tire was so much hotter than my rest, and so, but here's the catch with that. Whenever I start, so I dropped it down, maybe a PSI and a half to try to compensate for that. But by the time you start the race and exit pit lane, that tire temperature has dropped probably half a PSI.
Yep.
So now you have 3 laps before it's even at a regulated temperature, before it's even in the ballpark of being somewhat stable. So you have to make sure that you make good on your promise to not go crazy on the tires in the first 3 laps, and then you have to do the same to maintain it once the tires are actually up to temperature.
Yep. Well, I gotta say, it looks like Williams is gonna be crossing the line here. What a fabulous race from him as he finishes the line. P1's got to be very happy about that early pit stop.
Oh no, Byron, what happened?
Byron dropping down. Looks like he just went off track here.
Losing out on the P3, or even the slight chance, letting Daniels take P4.
Ooh. That's rough.
Absolute pandemonium going on at turn 3. I wonder if some people misinterpreted the last lap call.
And we got a nice little
No,
battle
I've done
here.
it before.
Coming for P17, 18, and 19. Walsh
What a great
making up some
overtake
positions
Walsh there.
here. That was a beautiful overtake. He got right out of the way. Looks like he's going to be crossing the line.
Boom.
We get a
Disqualification at the end of the race there. Somebody ignoring the old meatball flag.
yeah.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen that in an SRA race.
What is it?
But-
The meatball flag?
Yeah, the meatball flag, the black and orange flag shown for excessive damage to a vehicle or where you're required to pit for repairs. And somebody was disqualified for ignoring it.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen
I don't
that
think
either
I ever
myself.
have. In fact, I know I haven't
finish.
because I had to ask what it even represented.
Well, I tell you what, that was one heck of a race. Williams holding on to it, man. Holding
Yeah.
on to it, was consistent throughout the entire race. Clearly able to manage his tires decently well. Last lap ended up probably his slowest with a 140. Other than that, I mean, a minute gap.
Yeah, I mean,
that is just
it wasn't even
unbelievable.
close.
Absolutely unbelievable.
And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Sean Williams is new to SRA as a whole. So I definitely welcome the competition that he brings to the table.
Yep. And if anybody was wondering too, anybody with the red number plate is new. You need to do 3 races to get your official silver or gold plate in your division. And we do have our practice servers opened up on Paul Ricard.
There you go.
You got it. Hop on in, do some laps, become part of the league. You too can be on the broadcast.
Yeah, just join the community. I will say from experience, this is the most welcoming community that I've ever been a part of for really any game, let alone sim racing, which is saying something considering how intimidating sim racing can be. I think this is the perfect home for folks who are kind of on the edge, on the fence about trying to maybe step outside the realm of casual racing and just something, have a little something more organized with people who are more keen to prevent on-track accidents and that sort of thing. You'll not find a better home than Sim Racing Alliance. There's no question about it.
Yep. Nope. And you could check us out at simracingalliance.com. I could also join the Discord too. Both links should be down in the description of the video below. Josh, do you see any of our top 3 in the chat?
I
here?
am not seeing them at the moment.
See if we can get a couple interviews before we roll here.
Yeah, I am not sure. I know a lot of people are headed to beds, being work. I know some people are headed to the race reviews, but I don't see. Podium.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anybody in here either.
That is okay.
Well,
They're a little mic shy. The one day they'll figure out they can come up here and gloat about their victory, tell us about how easy it was to drive a minute in front of the field and then kick their feet up and have a little drink.
well, I tell you what, it was definitely some exciting racing. What track do we have coming up next week?
Next week we have the Wonders of Misano.
Ooh, and that's a wet race, I believe.
I do
Don't
believe you're
remind me.
correct.
I have to say it is one of my favorite tracks. We also have Multi-Class Mayhem on Friday, and then we have the SRA 1K endurance race, which I believe will be live streamed on Twitch, if not
I believe
mistaken.
both of those races are going to be live streamed on Twitch, but yeah, get your indie fix in this week.
Yep, there's going to be a lot of Indy because Multi-Class is on Indy. We have the D1, D3, and D6 race tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's at Indy. And then we have our endurance race Saturday, which is going to be on Indy. And I'm pretty sure after Saturday, I will never drive Indy again. Because
I'm going to get a good
2 weeks.
detox break of this track.
Yeah, I'm going independent of Indy.
But with that said, guys, I think we can close the show here.
It was a hell of a show, and I was glad to be a part of it.
I appreciate appreciate you guys being here with me.
Absolutely.
Josh, thank you very much. Nate, thank you very much. Hopefully we can
Hey,
do
it was
this
a
again
pleasure.
next week.
No question.
Work all the bugs out. And
yeah. I got some camera, like some hotkey practice I need to do, but I'll get it down.
It's all good. But with that said, guys, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for all
right.
for watching.
Take it easy.
Ding by the dun, ding by the dun, ding by the dun, ding by the dun. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? I would pay